July 17th, 1955, Anaheim, California. Walt Disney's dream is finally real. After years of planning, millions of dollars invested, thousands of workers building, one of the most ambitious entertainment projects ever attempted in America, Disneyland, the happiest place on Earth. The plan is simple: about 15,000 invited guests, an elegant opening, a nationally televised debut watched by millions, a flawless introduction of America's first truly immersive theme park, a showcase of what Walt Disney's imagination could create. The reality turns out to be very different. Nearly twice as many people show up as invited. Counterfeit tickets flood through the gates, forged press credentials, people climbing fences, fresh asphalt melts in the Southern California heat, women's high heels sink into Main Street, drinking fountains don't work, rides break down, a gas leak forces the closure of an entire section of the park, and television cameras are capturing all of it live for millions of people to watch unfold in real time. July 17th, 1955 becomes a catastrophe. Employees will later call it Black Sunday, one of the most disastrous opening days in American business history. But here's what's remarkable. That disaster, that failure, that day when everything seemed to go wrong, that day became the foundation for everything Disneyland would become. And it shaped how every theme park that followed would operate.
When they opened Disneyland in 1956, nothing worked.
Yeah, but John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
I'm Keith Conrad, and this is Sidequests. Today, Disneyland's opening day, the disaster, the response, and how one of America's greatest business successes was actually born from one of its most spectacular failures. To understand the significance of opening day, you have to understand what Walt Disney was trying to do. Before Disneyland, amusement parks were not prestigious places. They were dirty, unsafe, poorly maintained, built around carnival rides and cheap attractions. Parents often wouldn't bring their children to them. The reputation was terrible, but Walt Disney had a different vision. He wanted to create a park where parents and children could enjoy together. A clean park, a safe park, a park built on storytelling, on imagination, on carefully designed experiences. He called them cast members instead of employees. Every detail would be considered. Every land would be immersive. Guests wouldn't just be at an amusement park. They would be transported to different worlds, different eras, different stories. It was revolutionary. Nobody had ever attempted anything like it. And most investors thought Walt had lost his mind. Disneyland was expensive, extremely expensive, millions of dollars in a time when millions of dollars meant something very different. And the concept was unproven. Nobody knew if the public would come. Nobody knew if people would pay to experience immersive storytelling in a theme park setting. Walt believed in it so deeply that he mortgaged personal assets, risked everything, used his television program, Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Disney, to help finance construction and to build publicity. Construction began in July 1954, exactly 1 year to build an entirely new type of amusement park. 1 year. Modern theme parks spend years in development, years of planning and years of construction, years of testing. Walt Disney had 1 year. That 1 year deadline meant construction never really stopped. Crews worked around the clock, literally 24 hours a day, landscapers planting trees while painters were finishing buildings. Some attractions remained incomplete days before opening. Things were being rushed. Details that should have been finalized weeks in advance were being decided days before the opening. Last-minute decisions cascaded through the park. Fresh pavement laid on Main Street just days before opening. The asphalt wasn't fully cured, it was still soft, but there was no time for it to harden completely. Landscaping throughout the park was immature. Trees were small. Plants were freshly planted. The park hadn't had time to grow into itself. Some exhibits were unfinished. Some attractions weren't ready. Some systems weren't fully tested. But there was a deadline that couldn't move. Because Disneyland's opening wasn't just a park opening, it was a live national television event. Millions of people across America would be watching. There was no option to delay. No option to say, we need another month. The television schedule was set. The commitments were made. July 17th, 1955. That was the date, no matter what. Walt had invited approximately 15,000 people, VIPs, press, celebrities, invited guests who would experience the park on opening day. The gates open, and nearly double that number enters the park. Estimates range from 28,000 to more than 30,000 people, nearly twice as many as planned. How? Counterfeit tickets, thousands of them. Forged, fake, made good enough to pass quick inspection at the gates, forged press credentials, media passes created by people who had no legitimate claim to be there, people climbing fences, literally climbing over the park's perimeter to get inside. It's an invasion, unauthorized, overwhelming, and the park's infrastructure is designed for 15,000, not 30,000. Then the heat arrives. Southern California, July. Temperatures approaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Sweltering, brutal, and the fresh asphalt on Main Street, still soft, vulnerable. Women are wearing high heels, fashionable shoes for 1955. They step onto Main Street and their heels sink into the soft asphalt. The shoes get stuck, can't be pulled out. Women are leaving their shoes behind on Main Street, walking through Disneyland in their stockings. It becomes a running disaster. Then the water infrastructure fails. There's a plumber's strike happening. Much of the plumbing isn't fully operational. The system that was supposed to provide water throughout the park is incomplete. Drinking fountains don't work. Dozens of them, broken, non-functional. The heat is intense. 30,000 people, no working drinking fountains. A rumor spreads Walt deliberately designed the park so that drinking fountains wouldn't work, so that guests would have to buy Coca-Cola and other beverages. It becomes part of the legend, part of the mythology of Black Sunday. But the truth is simpler and more embarrassing. It was just bad planning. Construction delays, systems not completed, a plumber's strike causing problems. Walt hadn't sabotaged the drinking fountains. He'd just run out of time to finish installing them. Meanwhile, the rides are breaking down. Several attractions experience technical problems, mechanical failures, temporary shutdowns. The crowds are bigger than expected, the systems aren't designed for this volume, and the food service is overwhelmed. The restaurants in the park had planned for 15,000 people, ordered supplies for 15,000, prepared capacity for 15,000. Instead, 30,000 people are trying to eat. Lines wrap around buildings, supplies run out, kitchens can't keep up. By early afternoon, some restaurants have simply run out of food. It's chaos, and then something more serious happens. A natural gas leak is discovered in Fantasyland. For safety reasons, entire sections of the park have to be closed. Fantasyland, parts of Frontierland, several attractions shut down immediately. It's not just an inconvenience, it's a safety issue. The park has to be partially evacuated. Entire lands closed to guests. Meanwhile, on the roads leading to Disneyland, traffic is absolute gridlock. Miles-long traffic jams, parking lots overflowing. People waiting hours just to get into the park. The infrastructure for handling this volume of vehicles simply doesn't exist. It's getting worse instead of better. And through all of this, through every failure, every breakdown, every problem, ABC television cameras are broadcasting live. The hosts are struggling. Delays in the program. Technical problems. Walt Disney himself is doing some of the commentary, and he's visibly trying to work around the problems happening around him. Nothing can be hidden. Nothing can be covered up. Millions of people across America are watching this unfold in real time. The greatest opening day broadcast in television history is capturing what might be the worst theme park opening in history. By afternoon, Walt Disney is surveying the chaos. The park is overwhelmed. Things are breaking. The day is turning into a disaster, but what's remarkable is Walt's response. He's not panicked. He's not angry. He's not blaming people or making excuses. Because he understands something important. The concept works. People are here. 30,000 of them. They came, despite counterfeit tickets, despite the heat and the melting asphalt and these broken fountains. They came because the idea of an immersive theme park actually works. The execution is failing. The systems aren't ready. The infrastructure isn't sufficient. The park isn't prepared for this volume. But the core concept is sound. Walt understands that the problems are fixable. They're problems of scale, of planning, of operations, not problems with the fundamental idea, and he immediately begins to learn from the failures. The opening day exposes massive weaknesses in crowd control. They need systems to manage large numbers of people, queuing systems, better traffic flow, better access control, food service. They need to plan for larger volumes, better supply chain management, more capacity, maintenance. Rides need better support, better backup systems, better preventive maintenance, ride capacity. Some attractions can't handle the demand. They need to expand capacity or redesign queuing. Operations. The entire operational system needs to be rethought. Better communication, better coordination, better planning. Many of the systems that modern theme parks take for granted, the queuing systems, the crowd management, the operational protocols, the maintenance schedules, are developed because of lessons learned on Black Sunday. Despite everything that went wrong, something unexpected happens. People love Disneyland, even with all the problems, even with the broken fountains and the melting asphalt and the gas leak. Even with the long lines and the heat and the chaos, people love it. Word spreads, not about the disaster, though people certainly talk about that, but about the experience, about the immersive lands, about the clean park, about the feeling of being transported to another world. Attendance quickly grows. By the end of the week, the problems are being fixed. By the end of the month, the systems are working better. By the end of the year, Disneyland is a roaring success. The disastrous opening becomes a footnote, a funny story, a piece of history, but the lessons learned become foundational. Disneyland becomes the model. Every major theme park that follows borrows from Disneyland. Immersive lands, different themed areas where guests can step into different worlds. Detailed storytelling. Every element of the park tells a story. Guest experience. Everything is designed around making the guest experience as good as possible. Operational standards. The systems Walt develops for managing crowds, for serving food, for maintaining rides, for controlling access. Modern theme parks are built on the infrastructure that Walt Disney created after learning from Black Sunday. And here's the irony: if Disneyland had opened perfectly on July 17, 1955, it might never have become as good as it eventually became. The disaster forced improvements, the failures forced innovation. The problems revealed weaknesses that Walt then fixed. Modern Disneyland, and every theme park built since, exists in its current form because of what went wrong on opening day. The worst opening day in theme park history led to creating the best theme parks in the world. Today, millions of visitors walk down Main Street, USA every year. They smile at the Cinderella Castle. They enjoy the immersive lands. They stand in line for attractions. They buy souvenirs and eat food and create memories. Beneath their feet lies fresh asphalt, smooth, well-maintained. But that asphalt carries a memory of July 17th, 1955, of women's high heels sinking into soft pavement, of a dream that seemed to be collapsing in real time, broadcast live on national television. The drinking fountains work now, cold water flowing, plenty of them, positioned throughout the park. But that functional infrastructure carries the memory of a plumber's strike and 15,000 disappointed guests in 100-degree heat with nowhere to get water. The rides are maintained meticulously. Problems are addressed immediately. Attractions are regularly updated. The operational systems are among the best in the world, but those systems were born from breakdowns on opening day. From rides failing under unexpected loads, Disneyland's greatest operational successes are built on the foundation of its most spectacular opening day failures. Walt Disney could have been devastated by opening day, could have seen it as a failure, could have given up. Instead, he saw it as information. The concept worked. The execution needed refinement. That was all. He had the confidence in his vision to distinguish between a good idea that wasn't ready and a bad idea that would never work. And he had the flexibility to immediately adapt based on what he learned. That's a rare combination. Vision and humility, confidence and adaptability. It's part of why Walt became one of the most important figures in American entertainment history. He didn't just create Disneyland, he created the model for how to learn from failure and build something better. There's a broader lesson in the story of Black Sunday. We tend to assume that success comes from perfection, that great achievements are born from perfect planning, perfect execution, perfect first attempts. But often, that's not how it works. Often, great successes are built on learning from spectacular failures. The worst opening day forces you to think about everything differently, forces you to improve systems that seemed fine in planning, but fail in reality, forces you to innovate. If everything had worked perfectly on July 17, 1955, Walt might never have been forced to develop the crowd control systems, might never have been forced to improve the food service infrastructure, might never have been forced to create the operational protocols that became industry standard. The disaster forced excellence. And every visitor to Disneyland since, every person who has had a magical experience in a well-run, carefully managed theme park, benefited from Walt's willingness to learn from Black Sunday. July 17th, 1955, the happiest place on earth opens. It's a disaster. Counterfeit tickets, melting asphalt, broken fountains, gas leaks, ride breakdowns, overwhelming crowds, live television capturing everything. It should have been a triumph. Instead, it's a catastrophe. But something remarkable happens. Walt Disney doesn't see it as the end of the story. He sees it as the beginning of learning. The concept was sound. The execution just needed to be refined. By the time you visit Disneyland today, whether in 1955 or in the 21st century, you're benefiting from lessons learned on the worst opening day in theme park history. The crowds are managed, the fountains work, the food service handles the volume, the rides are maintained, the operational systems function seamlessly, all because Walt Disney learned from failure, all because the worst opening day became the foundation for the best theme parks. Sometimes history's greatest successes don't begin with perfection. Sometimes they begin with surviving the worst opening day imaginable and then learning from it.